It's funny how life can sometimes imitate life. It's funny how sometimes life is an imitation of a life. Don't you know not everybody is meant to go with you? Don't you know not everybody is meant to be a part of your cast? Don't you know people will intentionally be around, stick around to be in your life just so they can feel elevated, just so they can feel like they on another level higher than you, just so they can articulate their sentences in a way, well, maybe one day he'll marry you. Oh, you don't have children. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, you still on that job? Oh, you still got that job? Oh, you still driving that car? Oh, you still wearing that same hairstyle? Don't you know people will intentionally come in your life and will continue to be in your life depending on what you allow? That's why it is so important to have your own accountability to yourself. That's why it is so important to love yourself. That's why it is so important to know that God is love. Don't you know people will intentionally come around just to suppress you because of how they truly do feel about themselves? And the one that's talking about, he ain't married you yet? That's too bad. Be the main one that's having all types of issues, unclean thoughts, unclean deeds, an unclean heart towards who they're with. People will create a facade and have you thinking that they're living this life that's full of fruit, the best fruit that money can buy. People will have people thinking that the costume jewelry that they wear, which I have no problem with costume jewelry, but they'll have people thinking that the jewelry that they wear is so much better than them wearing the jewelry that they... What I'm saying is some of the stuff and thoughts that people have is so ridiculous. Then you find out they the ones that's actually going to the flea market, but they're sitting up here saying, oh, I'm always out here treating myself. I believe in having a Louis Vuitton bag. Look, I don't even know what the latest bag is, but I'm just saying how twisted people's conversations can be. They believe in taking their car to the car. No, having somebody to take their car to the car wash. People sometimes want you to surrender to what their thoughts are just for that very moment. Because see, at the same time, they still got to go back to their life. They still got to have the situations that they are going to be confronted with to work it out. But don't you know that there is a God? All of that suppresses that. Don't you know when you are in the time of need, you go to the rock? Not everybody deserves to know what your moment is, what you're going through. Not everybody deserves to see your moment when you do need to cry about it. Sometimes you got to take those burdens and lay them on down and pray about it. Talk to God about it. Get in your word. Be showered with God's love. Ain't nobody out here desperate to have no friends. Nobody is out here desperate to have toxic people in their lives, whether it be family, co-workers. Because see, sometimes silence, sometimes walking away is so much more powerful. Sometimes you have to even silence people with the word. Sometimes you got to put a scripture on people. Nothing to be explained. But you got to be in control. You got to be the head of your life. God being the head, but you being the head to dictate who's a part of your cast. Soon as you sense this ain't the right persons that's supposed to be in my life, it is darn right okay to move on. It is okay, because every moment in life, you have to make a decision. You got to decide what is right for you. You got to decide what is right for you and your family. You got to put yourself first and not allow people to overshadow, try to process your thoughts to tell you they don't care about you. They don't want to be around you. You know you're not smart enough to do that. You know you done got too old. You know, with you being the years younger than me, you're not allowed to think like that. What you eating that for? What you drinking that for? What you going there for? Why are you thinking like that? You can't do that. Why haven't you done this by now? Let them people go. Chances are they're not going to change. And if they do, it's going to take divine intervention. Not everybody is for you. People will have you around in their lives just to elevate themselves, just to feel like they sitting on top of the world. People like that are not healthy to be around because they're constantly in competition. When they need to be in competition to say, Lord, what was I thinking putting these other gods before you? They need to be in competition to get to the finish line. They need to be in competition to open up their hearts, to have a clear heart, to let go and let God. See, God is love. What separates you? God is love. When you love yourself, appreciate yourself enough to say, okay, that's it for them. Because I'm telling y'all, it is some serious people out here operating in this world that is not for you. And they are out here seeking whoever they may devour because they want you to take whatever energy that is that they're spewing out and they want you to pass it on. We don't want a world of people that's full of anxiety. We don't want to be in a world of people that's full of depression. We want to know how to pray for ourselves. We want to know how to pray, for others. Because people don't deserve to be in that type of world, to have their minds just bound up for when people want to come around and make people feel less than. If you do got kids, keep them covered. Keep them in prayer. Teach them. Keep training them up. You have adult kids out here too that needs to be encouraged. You got to keep training them up as well. But keep yourself encouraged, because how in the world are you going to help somebody else? And keep them unclean people out of your life. That is not for you. So when we talk about isolation before, yes, there is a season. Because see, that mind has to be renewed. You have to be rejuvenated. You got to have that personal time with the Creator to get yourself back right again. And when you in that bounce back season and you feeling good and you know who you are and whose you are, you'll know what scripture to apply. You'll know, how did I get through that moment? It's training the mind. It's repetition. Keep that door closed to the ones you need to keep it closed to. Pray for them. People can change. I've seen it. People can change. I've seen it. But they got to be the change to make the change. They got to be the ones to look in the mirror and make that change. But in the meantime, you got to protect self and know that not everybody is out here for you. But with God, who can be against you? All things are possible for those who believe.